Well, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, indeed. Winston Churchill was never wrong. You can't imagine that in some places within Kampala or some areas, it rained at night. Some, it didn't. But also, right now, the sun is bright and shining outside. Yet someone would think maybe it could rain throughout or have very early morning showers. So that is Uganda, the country we are in. The Pearl of Africa, gifted by nature, evergreen. I don't know which perspective you see that, because even of late we are doing so much of destroying the beautiful country in terms of messing with our environment. So let's all be very, very loving, caring, to protect the uniqueness that God gave us. 2 rainy seasons, wow, what a country. Fertile soils. Well, welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra, and I'm Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono. Just in case you've joined us every weekday, we are here from 6:30, and I tell you, it is very, very interesting. The openings up, the jokes, the light moments there spice up your mornings. You can't afford to miss, yet very informative, because we tell you what is current, what is trending, what is important for you, happening on the international scene, but also back home now. This is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. Today, I'm going to be discussing issues of technology, and we are going to focus on enhancing research with digital tools. Most of the times you hear people say the world has gone digital, it's now all about technology, that's the way of doing things. Some even may tell you, you're still locked in analog way of doing things, meaning slightly your way of doing things hasn't moved with times now. How do we promote digital? How do we enhance digital tools in research? And we want to look at the importance of digital research to organizations and individuals. Now, joining me on set to discuss this is Ogwal Martin, who is the CEO of Mood Technologies. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to begin with, Ogwal, when we talk about technology, that is something that many people would know. But now we are looking at digital research, enhancing research with digital tools. What is this?
Yeah, first of all, technologies, like you've already put it right. There was analog some time ago, and we are shifting, though we have some few people still using analog means to do work. But technology has come to stay. A lot of things we do, and it has enhanced a lot of our work. Life has become easier. I can take you back in time, around 490 BC. In Greece, there was a soldier who ran for 40 kilometers to deliver a message. He mentioned one word, fell down, collapsed, and died. That was from the city of Marathon to Athens, because there was a battle. They won, the military won, and he was supposed to deliver the message back to the rulers. Now you can imagine if somebody had to run 40 kilometers to deliver a message, but now you have to tap a button. And the message goes. Sometimes if it takes 5 seconds, you're even now impatient. So technologies have really enhanced how we do things, how we interact with the world. We can now do mobile banking, we do things like online schooling. Our children are studying using tablets and phones. And during the lockdown, that wasn't a problem. You can do clinic, you can consult your doctors, and so on. So technologies have really improved. And this is something we enhance in the field of research to help us improve and motivate and make us build a lot of accuracy in how we handle research work. Yeah.
Now, rightly said, one thing that comes to my mind, why must an organization use digital tools to conduct their research? Why must? Because this is what you're focusing on. They could have had other ways of doing things. Why must they go now down to this?
Maybe I first start from what the old way was, in that you develop questions, you recruit your team, send them to the field, they collect data, they bring you back the papers, you recruit the people we would call data entry clerks. So you recruit the young people who are talented in typing in the computer, and they type. But remember, the person who collected data could have made some mistakes in writing. I hope you can read all handwritings. I have problems reading a 4. For some people, they write it like a 9. So, so if somebody is typing that, they make mistakes. And also, there is what we call double data entry in research. That means the first person has entered data, you don't trust it, you call the second person, something like what the shopkeepers do to put 2 padlocks on the on the door. So so you put your first padlock for safety, put the second one. So this is the old way of how people were doing things in the research way. There are a lot of error points, which if we go mobile, most of our smart devices, like phones and tablets, have a lot of capabilities, and data can be captured while we are talking. Like if I'm talking to you right now, I can enter your responses right away. So we reduce that error point. Also, I'm assuming you've gone like, let's say like even 200 kilometers away from your office to do a research. All these papers you've collected, you have to transport it back. Hopefully it doesn't rain. You talked about rain this morning. So hopefully it doesn't rain, and maybe in a pickup, the papers are not covered and you lose all the work you've done. So there's a lot of unsafety in such kind of means that people were using formerly. Not only rain, if fire, papers burn. If fire burns the place where you're storing your papers, then you've lost the research itself. There are a lot of points where using the old means doesn't really help us to really move fast. There are a lot of unsafety points. And besides, we now have features to enable you to see your results as you do the work. Before you had to assemble this, get these papers, have a team, sit down to enter and so on, and you don't have an idea what is still in it. But while people are still in the field, you can now start seeing your results. There are a lot of benefits to digital technologies and research. There are so many smartphones available, and they all have capabilities to help us in conducting research.
Okay, then who should go for digital research? For example, some people that have small findings, some companies, should also individuals do this? Or is it for big companies that would opt for digital research?
Everyone is trying to do research. Students are doing research. Organizations are doing research. So maybe when you talk of small, I don't know how small might that be. But if you can go ahead to do the old method of research, that means you have more than enough funds to do a digital research. The key points where people spend in research is mostly, number one, they are printing papers. Let me give a simple example, like you want to interview 300 households, and you have a 20-page questionnaire. You're going to be printing around 6,000 pages of work. Now, if you can spend money on that, why not put an app in a phone? And simply eradicate the paper, and besides all the risk. And if you're printing 6,000 papers, assuming there is no mistake at all, somebody doesn't, a paper doesn't get torn for your questionnaire, so you have to print some excess, so you should be going for something like around 7,000 or something like that. A lot of costs you're going to be meeting. Then you have the people you are sending to the field who have to collect data. They have to go through question by question, no matter who they're talking to. But in a mobile device, you can put skips. The question doesn't apply to you, we don't ask you. So that cuts down the time taken to interact with the respondent, if you're talking to the household head or the spouse or somebody who is in the house. So you cut down, instead of doing maybe interviewing 5 households, you could end up interviewing 7. And the more field days you take, because you have to pay the team, and it's normally paid on daily basis. So the more days you take in the field, the more money you're going to spend. Actually, you're not saving. If you use technologies, you're saving. And the issue of people going to be typing again, the data entry clerks, remember you have to have two. You have the first one, you don't trust that they've done a good work. You bring the second one, they do that. So all this you're going to eliminate. You're going to cut down all those expenditures and shift all this into the tab. And by the way, you have to also do data cleaning. That means you're going to be involving a different group of people to cross-check errors in the data, which is something which can be really minimized. So if somebody has a small funding, like you're saying, they should actually go for digital methods, first of all, as a first point. Because a lot of people have phones now. You can have the data collectors come with their phones. You don't need to buy them. But of course, if they don't have if you have the tablets, hiring a tablet is not expensive. It's between around $2.5 to around $4, approximately 10,000 to 15,000 Uganda shillings per day. If they don't have the phones, you can hire tablets and still save a lot of cost. So actually, going the old way is a lot more expensive. If somebody can do that, I can guarantee you they can really afford digital ways.
Well, some technology here, and we are looking at enhancing digital research. And I have, in case you've just joined, Ogwal Martin, who happens to be the CEO of Mood Technologies. These do digital research for various individuals, organizations, and they make things appear very accurate, but also very smart indeed. Now, you talked about using the mobile phone, are there specific apps that a person who's going to use a tablet or who's going to use a mobile phone while conducting research can apply or can download or has to have?
Oh, you said download. So most of the apps are available for download. Like in Google, you go to Play Store and download the apps. But it's not about only downloading. You need to design your tools into them. So there are apps like ODK, CS Pro, Kobo Collect, Survey City. There are many. But these apps, they need smartphones, like smart devices, as we had said. And they need some level of skill in how to use them. But they're free. These apps are free for download. The part you need is the skill to design them. But beyond that, when you talked about this is somebody who is going to collect data using a smartphone. Sometimes you want to reach out to communities and you don't have these smart devices. Let's say you want to get information from farmers in a certain area. You normally buy data using your phone, right? Yeah, so you don't need a smartphone. Actually, a phone like, I carried mine here. How do you call this? This is Katoch, right?
Katochi,
Katoch, oh, you brand them so many names. So no, these phones can do a lot of feedback. You can buy your airtime, you can buy data. And those are methods which we call USSD. These are things that can be applied in research so that you can send people a code, they dial that code, then they keep filling the feedback, choose one to do this, choose two. You just keep the research so simple, questions so few.
Like when you call some of these customer care, press one for this.
Oh, and actually that is another means. That is what we call interactive voice response. So you call a customer care, before you talk to somebody, a nice lady welcomes you. I don't know, maybe ladies are just naturally welcoming. Yeah, so men are rare on that, so we give credits to them for that. So you find a nice lady's voice welcome you and tell you, if you want to get this service, dial 1. If you want to talk to a consultant, dial 9 or something, then you dial. And those are also different methods you can use, because these responses, these numbers you're dialing are sending feedback to a server somewhere, computer somewhere. So we can gather these and then use it as a research. So besides USSD, where you're dialing a code and you're getting responses, you can also apply the interactive voice response and still collect your data. You don't need now you can actually reach now thousands of people instead of having a smaller sample size. And for people who are in the offices, you may not need a smartphone. Send them a link. They can fill up an online questionnaire. you don't need you don't need to hire transport and so on for people to go. A small email link would do, and these are digital. You save a lot, and there's so many ways that digital research actually can help.
Well, I know you're now getting to where we are. It is all about doing research using modern technologies, digital research, where we limit a number of things, materials used, transportation, number of risks, and above all, accuracy when it comes to research is paramount here. And that is what we are discussing with the world. But, you know, research is broad. We have those that may go to health research, the doctors, we have those. Civil society does a lot of research on social behavior, character, human rights, and all that. So we may not have specific research, but generally we are looking at all various forms of research. How would you apply, or how do you apply digital technologies in carrying out this research? Now, let's also look at some of the challenges. This may fairly look new to us here in Uganda. Where we still have that what is taught at university, you get your questionnaire, you're going to move, then the whole thing of normal way of doing research. So what are some of the challenges with this digital that seems quicker, of course less expensive, and with all these advantages, with all the good you've told us that you get? So what are some of those challenges?
Yeah, so most of the things that we use actually have both sides, only that one side outweighs the other. So in using digital tools, first of all, we talked about having the smartphones. So you must have a smartphone or have a tablet. And that means if you don't have, you have to hire. But if you have, we have to check that they have space. There was a time we did a research in Kenya, and we had like 25 enumerators we called, and like 5 of them had run out of space on their phones. So we had to actually get either clear up space. You know, people nowadays are really having social media things and downloading all videos and so on. So if you have to rely on that, for most organizations, we advise that if you have a budget, you can hire the tablets, so that these are special. They are not filled up, so that you overcome that challenge. So we have that. We need to get the tablets, we need to get the phones, they need to have space, and also they need charging. These devices need power. So if you go to a place where there is no electricity, it's a challenge. Though with all the years we have done for research, we have always figured out the nearest town where, nearest center where we can have the devices charged, and we have power banks. We carry, even in town, people forget to charge their things, their devices. So we normally provide spare power banks so that we don't pause the research. Remember, we invest in research. Every day is a cost. So any extra day in the field is a heavy cost on the person who has started the research. So there's need for this. Charging it, you need to have the devices, you need to have the space enough, because sometimes you're taking pictures, you're recording data and so on. Sometimes you're doing voice recording for cases where we activate voice recording. Yeah, and then of course, then there's a human factor that comes in. Naturally, like in Africa, we love talking to our visitors. If somebody is just on a screen like this for the next even 10 minutes, I think you'll get a bit like, is this person serious?
Yes, he's talking to me while he's on phone.
So you're on phone throughout. So we have to train the people who are going to be collecting data how to interact with these are people you don't live with them, so they take you as visitors. We are naturally welcoming, and we want to chat with you, and people are normally very free to give us information. But there is a way we have to train on how to interact. So we need to give people who are collecting data a good skill of human interaction with these technologies. Yeah.
Well, so much indeed that needs to be really factored in. I just figure out someone on phone while asking questions, what that could mean. Definitely, that's why you talked about a lot of training. But allow me to go for a short break. When I return, we'll still be discussing more regarding digital research.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kaso's my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera. Refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Eyange irisiti tompa bidara irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidara irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa bidara mpa irisiti yange.
That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, Uganda Extra. We are looking at enhancing digital research. That is doing research using modern technologies, doing research that is more accurate and of course more time saving, but also financially saving. How? Because technologies do that if well used. Now, when we talk about digital research, we know sometimes you have to go to remote areas when conducting research, and our internet connection or connectivity around the country in some areas is not that very good. If we still have challenges with network, just network, someone calls and says our network is bad, that's why you can't get it properly. So what happens? Is it possible to monitor a team in the field in a remote area using this method of research?
Yeah, first of all, you don't need internet to collect data.
What do you need?
The app itself works offline. And the only time you need internet is to upload it, which is sometimes what we do once in a day, because as I said before, the team stays somewhere and normally go to a location where that is collection takes place. So that is uploaded possibly in the evening once, and these results go into the server. The beauty of it is that the results come and you see them on your screen from wherever you are. You can decide to take your trip to South America and enjoy your nice meal of pollo a la barta. I hope you or llama saltado. These are kind of like you would enjoy your roasted chicken, or go to our village and enjoy it. We have a nice fish called sorbana. You would go and enjoy. But the good thing is that research gives you, digital research gives you that ability to have results coming in. If you're in a location, because you mentioned that some locations do not have reliable connection, but some locations have. If you go to a location where there is a connection, there's good phone network, you have internet connection, actually you could have data coming in like twice in a day. You monitor this, you relax and have a dashboard like we normally go. If you go to our website, mt.co.ug, you would see results there. We give dashboards where you can see, and some of them are already analyzed. You'll have a lot of peace of mind. There's a lot of modern technologies to help you monitor your research remotely.
Now, more technologies has been around for some time.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with Ugandans perceiving or responding to this way of conducting research?
Actually, first of all, the organizations, most of them are local and international, so they already know about technologies. The only thing is, can we use it in our places, in our country? So, and a number of maybe people who are getting into the research field, like students and so on, they're already aware of this, and we have to also give more messages to those who don't know yet. These are available technologies. They are cheaper, and they help a lot in conducting research.
Yeah. Talking about them being cheaper now, does someone need special skills? You talked about students carrying out research. I remember at university, yes, you're taught how to do research, and of course, it's one of the areas people don't like so much. If it's just a dissertation, it can make you really feel nagged and all that. So do you need special skills if you're to carry out research in this way? Or is it something that you can just go to an app, everything is easy, clear, then you're done?
Why don't you like research? It's just lovely to do research. Okay, it could be hectic if you approach it the hard way or the old way. But if you've already collected data, you talked about the analysis. Do you need a special skill? To some extent, depending on the kind of data you're going to be analyzing. But key statistics like averages, kind of frequency analysis and so on need basic skill of understanding data analysis. But if you go into deeper statistics about modeling and so on, you need more understanding. You're going to do deep econometric analysis. You're going to do, you want to predict the future using the data you've collected. You're looking at time series data. You want to look data over a range of years and so on. So this needs some bit of skill. Some people are looking at dietary diversity. You're looking at are people malnourished in a community? How do you measure malnourished? How somebody's malnourished and so on. So these ones now need a bit of deeper skill. Basic skill for some of the analysis, much deeper skill in some of the analysis. So yeah, that is where it varies. But to interpret data, you need to understand the data itself.
What kind of softwares or tools are used here? Because when I look at, I'm trying to figure out, I'm in the field, I want to do research regarding something, and I'm now thinking of taking myself to exactly seeing how to go about these things. I'm watching the show this morning, there's something very interesting, maybe even I have a research I'm conducting, and I want to go digital. What are those that I require?
In terms of software? Yeah, in terms of software, we normally, I would advise you in, depending on, because research involving human interaction, they're mostly in two ways. There is a quantitative bit and qualitative bit. The quantitative bit is about asking categorical information like male and female, you're black or white, you're tall or short, or how old are you. So those ones need particular kind of software. Things like Excel is available for most people. You can use it to analyze that. But there are specialized software for analysis of data. Excel is a little more general, though some of the companies have developed software to add on it, and it's called an add-on like Excel Start. It is at a cost. And other software like SPSS, Starter, Argent there are many others, but these are the most common software someone can use to analyze this data. There is also a second method of collecting data, which is qualitative. It's like you go and collect a group of women and have a discussion with them, or a group of youth and have a discussion with them. You could record your discussion, or you can write notes. That is different from someone categorizing things in terms of height and so on. So this time you have written notes. How do you analyze it? So there are software that are basically meant for that, and they're a little more costly, of course, compared to the first kind of research. So this software, first of all, listens to the audio like we are talking, then tries to pick words and transcribe it. So it types inside, it listens and types. And starts sorting out the keywords.
Wow.
Yeah, there are specialized software for that. So they start sorting out the keywords and content. So they do content analysis, is what we call content analysis. Though, because they're filtering keywords, you have to be also keen on which kind of software to use, because some of them are specialized possibly in legal terms. Some are specialized in medical terms. I can tell you, one time I walked into a building, and I found a security guard, and he was looking a bit worried. So I asked him, oh, my friend, hello, how are you? I'm fine. Yes. Then I said, oh, what is the problem? I'm waiting for my reliever. Had not had somebody tell me that they're waiting for a reliever. So I was like, what is a reliever? He said, oh, the person who is coming to take over from me. So if in their field, somebody taking over a work from them is a reliever, that is in the, I don't know, I'm not in that. So I don't know if that is a keyword they use, or it was just this person who calls the replacement a reliever. But different departments, different professions have their terms. So some of these software sort out words and analyze it. So you have to be careful. If you're doing a legal research, law kind of related, they're going to sort out law terms and analyze it well. Some of them medical and analyze it well. But looking at the cost side of it, okay, of course, the qualitative software, you ask for which one they can use. There are things like NVivo. There is one Atlas TI. There is Max QDA. There are so many out there, but these are the most common ones. About the cost bit, the ones that does categorical data, age, sex, and so on, they're a bit cheaper. Possibly, they range between like $100 to up to a tune of $25,000. So you're talking about like 370,000 Uganda shillings at the current exchange rate to over 90 million for one user license. Some of them are way expensive. And for the ones that does qualitative analysis, that is where you're having groups, like we said, you collected a group of women and you talked to. Most of them start from like $1,000 and beyond, so you're talking about 3.7 million Uganda shillings and so on. So some of these software could be cheaper and expensive. Affordability now depends on who is in need of using this software. But also, most of the companies that do software package them for particular kind of people. There are versions for students. There are versions for non-profit, like for NGO, which are medium priced. For students are the cheaper version, because students do research for 3 months, 6 months, and they're done. Like for you, are worried about your research, but you need a software that could work for you for 3 months, and you're done. So you get the lower cost version. Then the business community, the commercial part, that goes a bit expensive, and they have different features. So to choose a software, you need to first know who is in need of this software and what are they going to use it for. Then you can advise on which particular one now. But basically, those are the areas.
Well, usually in research, there is data cleaning.
Yeah.
And that is also another process that is quite hectic and disturbing as well. So if I use digital methods to carry out research, do I need data cleaning also?
Now, if the reason people clean data is because of possibly something is an error.
Yes.
or it's actually the logic doesn't flow. Let's say you've gone to households and you're interviewing children, you're asking information about children, and somebody, instead of typing 10-year-old, types 100 years old. Can you see that is a very serious mistake? So when you analyze that, you're really going to get a really skewed result. Or you go into a house and asking somebody, have you ever been pregnant? And this question applies to women, not a man. And you're asking a man and they give you a response of no. Basically, it doesn't mean for someone to say no when pregnancy is not actually in their area. So that is kind of errors which occurs, and people need to clean it up. Though these errors can be avoided using digital means, if we already say children are aged 0 to 10, that means if you enter 100 or even 11, the tablet will reject you from going ahead and say, no, wait a minute, we said children should be, the oldest child should be 10 years old. So why are you giving me 11? Why are you giving me 100? So that error is corrected. For the case of asking someone a wrong question, that can be skipped or turned into something not applicable automatically by a tablet. But also we have a third kind of area that we normally do data cleaning in. If you go to a community, and most families have maybe like 5 to 7 members in the home, and you find this one household having like 30 members in the home. It's true, but it just not at the community level. So that one we have to agree on, should we maintain it? Should we give them the average number, which could be 6? We say, you have 30, but we are turning you into 6. Or we just totally remove this household from our data, because it's really going to, all we are going to ask them will be for 30 members of the household. So can we just remove this household? If we are targeting 300 households, can we do analysis on 299 and get accurate results than doing on 300 and getting inaccurate results? So that is something that the researchers have to sit and agree on how to handle. So those ones are data cleaning. So in the tablet, when you use tablets or digital means, errors about entry errors can be controlled at the point of interview.
Well, I know researchers are following, students are following, and wherever you are, it's very important. At one time, you would love to carry out research over something, and we must accept, day by day, our country is developing in various aspects. Previously, you would talk and discuss, but now someone tells you, but let's first conduct a research. You want to start mining, you want to start, everything people today talk about research. Have you done research? Can we hire a firm? Can we, is there any research you're basing on to present your arguments? So the world has gone into research and having facts. No wonder one said, who has not researched has no right to speak. So when we talk about how to do research using digital means, then that brings the relevancy of why we should embrace this, which is faster, more accurate, and also above all, it takes less money than you would if you did things the known way, the analog way of doing things. Now, where does more technology come in? We've talked about digital research, but where do you come in? Do you help people into this way of doing research? What's the connectivity? Apart from saying you deal in technologies.
Let me first tell you something. There was one time a carpenter was very experienced in doing his work. So he grew old and he became weak. So he went to his manager and said, but he was working on construction. He would do very good buildings, roofings and so on. Very perfect, that people loved him so much. But he said, I think I'm growing old, I'm becoming weak. Maybe I should retire and go home. I can't do this work anymore. So he went to his manager and said, I want to go home, I want to retire. And he said, why? It's like, I think I can't do this anymore. So the manager said, but you are one of our best employees. Why don't you hold on, stay with us? He said, no, I need to go. So he said, okay, just do me one favor. do for me one more project, and I'll set you free. So he said, okay, maybe I've worked for you for a while, I could help you on that. So they gave him a site, he worked on it very half-heartedly. Did a schedule work. He was a very experienced person, did a schedule work. Because he was rushing, he really wants to get this work done. And he went back and said, manager, I'm done, the building is ready. He said, okay, let's go and see. So the manager went, he normally has his checklist. But this time instead of a checklist, he had something else in his hand. He had some paper, which was different. So he said, okay, so where is the key? He handed over the key, the manager wrapped the paper back, the key back in the paper and said, this is your house. There was no way we could say thank you to you. He could have collapsed because this was the worst job he did in his life. So coming back to what are we doing? Every research is like we feel like it's part of us. So what we do, we start from the preparation itself, digitizing the questionnaire itself. Sometimes people structure questionnaires because you have an idea, you want to collect data on, and as you think through them, you keep putting them down. So the first thing we sit with you and then say, so what do you want to achieve? Are these questions applicable or not? Are these questions sensitive or less sensitive? Imagine going to an area where there's sensitive land issue, and the first question you're asking somebody is about land. Can you imagine that the whole research is spoiled?
Yeah, because it's how they perceive you.
You have not even got a rapport. You have not even established the trust for this person you're talking to, but you're already firing a very sensitive question. So we first look at that, sort out the question and say, the location we're going to, what is sensitive in that area? We're going to get this data, all right, but let's move it to the middle of the questions. Or let's move it towards the end. When this person has built trust, they've maybe spoken for 15 minutes or 20 minutes already. And then, so these are things we really reorganize from the research. Repeated question is someone is asking you about chicken, they're asking you about sweet potato, next question, chicken, sweet potato, and you say, so now what are you talking about? So some questions could be right, but needs to be rearranged. So in the digitizing process, while we're digitizing, we factor that into consideration. And then we factor in that there is fatigue for respondents if the questionnaire is too long. So we need to have a control of how the questions flow. So most of the time we have to find where we can skip questions which are not applicable in a very orderly way. And these are some of the things that we do a lot in digitizing process. And of course now the next bit is results. We talked about analysis. We talked about somebody having a skill. We have actually built a feature on our dashboard. You can go to our website and see, mt.co.ug, where you already have analyzed results. You don't need a skill to, not even basic skill. You only need a skill how to download, how to export it to Word. It's just clicking a button. So that is something we have really, because we want to give back to our communities. If we have a technology to do something, and we can do it and help our people, why not? We have to do that. It's what they do, benefit us, benefit them. We all benefit. So for online dashboard, we actually give it for free for all the research we do. Then when we go into deep analysis, we can now then have that discussion. So we provide that service for analysis, then that analysis, and then preparing reports. And sometimes if it's scientific or other papers, there are publications that go into journals. So there is a need to prepare the manuscripts for publication because there are communities like you can go into agriculture and publish it in a journal for agriculture, or you can go to medicine and publish it to where all the medical people can go and see this report whenever they want to search for some information and make references. Students are doing research all the time and looking for references. They need to check for publications. So if you have done a good work, why not publish it?
Well, we've talked so much regarding research, definitely, and not only research, but digital research. How best can we enhance digital research in our research we do? Of course, it has benefits. You take lesser time, it's cheaper, and also fairly more accurate compared to the ordinary way of doing research. But time is not so much on my side. I must let you go. But I know someone is watching. Maybe they need to know more about how best, in case they are carrying out, if they want to have some checks and balance and consultation, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, our website is www.mt.co.ug. When you get to our website, you'll get all our contact details. We have got directions to our office for those who want to visit us physically at Ntinda. So we have a Google map. Nowadays people use PIN. So you can go to the website, get the map and put a pin, and the map will direct you. You'll just drive it. It will give you all the routes up to our office. So anytime you feel free to visit us, we are open for consultation and helping. Research is part of us. We just want everybody to enjoy research. Not like the way you were saying that it's some sort of hassle. Research is fun. Just enjoy it.
Martin, I have to let you go. And of course, thank you so much, our viewers, for being with us right from 6:30 when we began a live broadcast. Till now, we appreciate, we don't take you for granted. See you tomorrow, same time, 6:30. The Mighty Four will be here, and of course with the big team behind the scenes. Friday is usually a special Friday. So much jokes, artists and all that. You can't afford to miss tomorrow. Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono, wishing you a lovely day for God and my country.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.